Carcino here. This is Carcino for Life. Welcome to the channel and grateful that you guys are here so that you guys could take in and take heed to everything that's being discussed and said. Because there's a lot of things in the industry that goes unchecked, that goes you know, discussed, and for the sake of others, other people suffer at the expense, and that's not fair. And I believe that the silence is as deafening as anything that you could ever imagine. There's a lot of things going on in the industry, and it gets swept under the carpet, the rug, or whatever. They just don't care in Hollywood. They really don't. They just don't care. But we have been exposing them. And believe me, they are listening. Fewer and fewer of you get to even take in anything about what we doing, the news, anything. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. They don't want you repeating a word of what is said, stopping notifications in their tracks ASAP. Now, I want you to see something here. This is a show of 6 women on a reality show that is taking place. And this will be the example for today. Because it must be said, even though they're not going to make sure that you get these notifications, it's cool. We get it. Game. Now, what does a black man from Chicago know about all of this? Who rocking the Bears? What does he know about all this activity? Well, he knows a lot. And he's not afraid to speak on said situations. So let's get to the gist of why this video is going to take place. In Hollywood, let's say there's a situation, because I'm going to tell you the situation. And this covers reality television, this part of Hollywood. Now, reality television is pretty much governed by the same people that produce movies. Yeah, they have the same producers that produce film. And when they're looking for talent, they're looking for somebody to stand out, they're looking for somebody they can get in their movies, they go to reality television as basically to fill up time slots that they want to run ads on, just so they can have content going. And if it's something that can garnish the interest of the urban media, good. Let's use that to build up our network so that we can put it in a tranche with another thing and then sell it to get big money, merge it with another company. Then we'll get rid of all those black shows, and then we'll bring in white shows to do the same thing. So now we can get rid of all of these black shows. We'll take like one that we like out of them and then replace them with all white shows. The white shows will have a bigger budget and look more classier, but we'll build them up off the strength of the black shows. Something they've always done at networks for regular programs. Reality shows are fake. The only thing is real are the people, but the storylines, the scenarios, the majority of it is fake and scripted, like WWE. They'll have certain scenarios, but some of this people take this stuff real. They take it real serious. Because the fact is, that is you, that is your business. Everything that you're talking about is real. and they're insulting it. And this could either hurt your business or enhance it. No, no, no. Here's the thing. What people don't understand is they pitch a reality show all the time, and they do it for years. Now, the people that work here and do this are beneath the tiers of the major people who make Hollywood movies, like the Harvey Weinsteins and all of those guys who are in charge. They're connected to all of these networks that run these reality TV shows. And all of these people that's in reality television, they want so badly to be in Hollywood. They want so badly to be on that big stage. They want to produce up there. They don't want to be on this low tier stuff and doing network television. Their dream is to work a big production set in Hollywood so they get promoted. So the big thing that they end up doing is they go ahead and they start pressing the button on finding the talent for these reality shows. Now, when you're black, it's easy to get this talent because in the urban market, our black stars don't make enough money. We look at them as superstars, but the industry look at them as broke. And they can get them to do pretty much anything. There's only like probably a handful that are like A-list talent that wouldn't be caught dead doing a show like that. Let me tell you, for instance, right? There's somebody I know who got offered a reality television show. Now, they came up with the concept for the show. They got all their girlfriends together and decided this is what they wanted to do. They had the idea, what the show would be about, and how it wasn't going to be like this other shows. Right? Oh, our show's going to be different. They all say that. Most of the producers that do their shows, some of them are sleazy. Some of them are controlling, male chauvinist pigs. Or they just control freaks. Or they gay. They don't like women. They're vicious. Some of those are some of the vicious people in the industry. But they don't talk about that. There's many of black women that have been mistreated by gay men in Hollywood who work in production and staff because they just genuinely just don't like women and, and they just have a bad attitude towards them, especially black women, and they feel like they can tell them anything. So anyway, on this set, they had a very bad experience. They came up with an idea, a concept, and the guy wanted to pitch it to him and met them at a comedy club in Houston. Now, this is how far back I've been knowing this is to go. They've been trying to pitch this since 2014. So in 2014, these women got together and decided that this would be a good idea. And when they ran it by me, since I was a business partner, I would be brought into this because I'm part of the team. So I might be on some episodes based on what was going to transpire. So I'm looking at what the treatment, what they were going to do, what they were going to get for a pilot. And then they have to go and get the money. And before all of this stuff can take place, they're giving them the runaround. They're giving them set locations, all of these things that's put it on the table to try to give the illusion that this is something that's going to be legit and this is something that we're going to build on. Hold your head, right? Now, what changed? Do you want to know what changed? What changed is everyone's attitude towards the project. You got all of these other people getting involved. So they have one business meeting, then they getting approvals and they're saying, okay, you're gonna have creative control over the staff because you put these people in charge. So they go to the lady who was doing this and said, hey, you put this together, you assembled the girls, so here you are. Now, here's the thing, as my problem looking in as a male. And I'm saying, huh, okay, no offense, but two of these girls work for you. The other ones, they're not, no one knows them. Like, people barely know you, okay, but you will get by. Everyone else, nobody knows. And there's no real people on this show that I feel that they are going to really care about in this story. Like, how is it going to be written? Did you write this out already? Like I don't understand it. Like, what is this about? Why would someone be interested to put money into this? Is what I wanted to know. Which, I was looked at as pretty much negative, but I wasn't being negative at all. I'm looking at it as somebody who's going to spend money on it. Like, okay, I'm a consumer of this. I need to know what it is that I'm buying. I need to know the product. I need to know everything that's aligned here that you got set up. I need to know. And the reason I need to know is because my name's going to be on this. I'm going to be attached. So if I'm going to be attached to something, it has to make sense. And getting people to understand that, they just don't understand it for some reason. Now, there's so much that goes on in a set, in an agreement. And when you start seeing people change the dynamics of what's going on, you're going to start to see a whole different tone shift. So when somebody say, hey, I didn't get any work, or I couldn't do any work anymore, my whole life changed, I couldn't equate to getting something that I normally used to do. You listen to their stories, but then you start to figure it out as to why these situations was taking place the way it was going. Now, mm, no. Chief said this in 92 to the game. Dog, they're gonna make sure you don't hear any of this information as much as possible because they're listening with their eyes wide open, bushy tailed, and they want to pay attention to it because they know what comes with something like this. Mm-mm. So the next meeting will be because you're black. You went from a comedy club to do the deal. Next thing you know, the investors at the strip club. You got to go to the strip club with the investor. And you go like, why do I have to meet the investor at the strip club? Because that's where most of these deals get done. And who's bringing you there? The person that's trying to push you to do the deals. Oh, you gonna do this deal. Oh, you gonna love this deal. This deal is amazing. You're gonna love it. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do X, Y, and Z. So then comes the numbers. And then all the numbers and figures you had in your head is not matching up with the studio guy. And they saying, look, we're gonna give you this right here. We're gonna get you 20,000, right? Film give us something with 20,000, we want to see what you can do. I can get you to 20 grand to get this thing started, and you could do a pilot, try to shoot. I'm like, what pilot you gonna shoot with 20 grand? But I mean, with professional cameras and renting this stuff out, but okay, they were gonna give you the money, but it wasn't like that because she was fighting for creative control because she got the cast. So they said, okay, you got the cast already there. We approve of the cast. So you're a creative control of the cast. They're the network. So the staff, the crew, and everybody there wasn't kind of their crew, even though it was a major network, kind of. It was like their sister branch network. Okay, they're attached to them, but not attached to them. So they wanted to attach that branch network. Their production crew was going to handle the whole thing. Now, they had been acquired by the major company. So they were like, okay, y'all work for us. Since y'all work for us, we're going to do this little project over here. We want y'all to go over there and work and film. So now comes the dragging process of the money. And so they're saying, well, we just gonna go ahead and film it, and then they're gonna give us 20,000 for it for just this, treatment. And that's what the studio wants you to do anyway. They're gonna drag their feet because they know the other girl's gonna be getting antsy. Girl, are we getting a show or not? What's going on with all these meetings and going to the strip club? And they saying, well, you gotta kind of entice this guy, you gotta convince him, he wants to give you the money, but he's not really convinced. You gotta he's the producer, man. He got the money. You need to go out with your girl, party with him, hang out with him, get him to want to spend the money. So basically, you're being a hoe, soliciting for money. And you're a professional businesswoman. Like, this is beneath you. But the power of fame and wanting to get things done, it moves in this way. So they end up trying to entice the individual for his money. That was for the treatment. Oh, dude, it's some crazy deals out here on the table. Now, here's the deal. They never have any intentions of making this project work. See, here's the thing. The studio, if they don't have a spot for you, they don't really care. The sleazy producer would be like, look, they've organized a bunch of, girls and put them together, a bunch of fine women. We could use them for parties, events. Come here and say, oh, we're gonna put you in the host. And they want to see which girls are gonna go the extra green mile. And they say, well, this girl over here seems very motivated. And they say, okay, well, she seems very motivated, and this is something that we could look into. Then that person end up being the star of the show. Because see, most of the reality show women that they use on these other networks, they don't have anything. This was it for them. No one knew them. They didn't have anything going on. So this was this. And most of them was passed on like a blunt. From VH1 to MTV to BET to TV One. All of them did it. All of them had sleazy producers who Hollywood can never be associated with, but they still work with them because they know how to go find talent because they go into the sleaziest of areas. They know how to be sleazeballs. He said showgirls, exactly. Basically, pretty much. But see, they play him like a fiddle, and they go in there and trying to see who's going to have the morals and standards into the deal. And if you got morals and standards, then you're not going to get anywhere. And they make sure of that. There's a lot of women in this Hollywood business that then slept with some people that they don't even want to mention. You'll never know. From Paula Jai Parker to Elise Neal to Taraji P. Henson, all of them have had to play that price. All because they wanted to make it their way. Well, mm-hmm. He said, not my baby. He said, not my baby, what? Taraji. Of course. Do I even need to mention Mrs. Love in basketball? Sanaa Lathan, daughter of Stan Lathan, who could have put her on any TV show in the world, which he was doing early in her career to jump her in front of the line. And what did she do? Find a way to screw that up. She wanted to do it on her own because she felt she was missing out on money being protected by daddy. So she didn't want that life. No, 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 no. So for years, they kept pushing this, gonna turn Houston, because Houston is like the Las Vegas of the South. I've heard stupidity like this my entire life. So they keep baiting all of us to believe that this is what the notion is. We got to get a show in Houston. So they were all excited about the show. They kept saying, oh, no, they want a show in Houston. And we going to get this off the ground. And I'm like, okay. So they went to some event party that they have. Like it's red carpet. Oh, everybody going to be there. Red carpet event. What happened? Well, one of the producers said, we want to make this thing happen, but we don't know about some of the girls and the production and the staff, and all of these things are happening. It's not taking place right, and this ain't the time right now. We got another show here, and we got to find a time slot for the show. And when is that pilot getting done? And they was like, well, we even talked the money and everything else. And he was like, look, we can get the money, but we need to have something to show them, to show, put something in place. So what happened is they hired a camera guy. They paid him like $1,000 for the cameraman. He went and followed the girls. They wanted to do their little walk in together. They all got dressed up. And it's them walking, and they supposed to put sound to it. You hear the wind blowing, and they walking, and they doing a little test video, and them talking about absolutely nothing, just being superficial as hell, like every other reality show. So now that dynamic has changed. Because fame is a drug all in its own. now Lathan slept with the president of Universal Records. Why? I'm like, Steve Rifkin from Loud, used to be Loud Records, who's at Universal. You messing with him? Why? Because he had connections. She was with French Montana. For what? Connections. And these guys will corrupt you. They'll put people in your lives. So why are they trying to get this reality show off the ground? The guy says, hey, this looks pretty interesting. It looks like something here we could possibly use. But yeah, we got a team. The producer, he's going to be in town this week. And what ended up happening? 3 of those girls was messing around with all the producers, the assistant production guy. They went out, they got drinks, they went to a hotel. All three of the girls that they had, because first of all, I think they had 5 girls on the show. 3 of the girls ended up being told that it was going to be their show, but this other girl was slowing it up. So she started to turn on the other girls, and they was like, we can do something with you. I feel like, there's some rooms for you to do things, and you can model, you can be an escort in there. That way you can network. Meanwhile, they're sleeping with them, so they're basically turned into sex slaves because the majority of these women weren't doing anything anyway. So this was the bait just to keep them there. Then the show don't happen, and they saying, well, the show's not gonna happen because they just really got what they wanted, which was the girls sleep with them. They didn't cost them any money, none. They ended up spending the thousands of dollars, still trying to hope to get the 20,000 for the treatment. It's a game that they've been running consistently over these women that's thirsting to get in the game for fame. These sleazeball producers keep doing it to these women, and it's been going on since before that I knew. But this will happen in 2014 when they tried to do that. Now here comes another reality show in Houston. Somebody I know. They went to Carla J, and they got Carla J, and they told her the same thing. She wanted to do female boxing, like all the female girls were in the boxing world, and they happened to be in Houston, and they're going to film it there. She wanted it filmed in 3 locations. So Carla was a business partner of mine, and I said, well, Carla, if they want to go ahead and put this together and do this and the contracts, and I'm supposed to be a part of it, the whole thing. And I'm just like, she was gonna get Christina Ponder from Top Rank to be involved, and it's a lot of other people, and they were all gonna be involved into this deal. Yeah, it's wicked. So the whole thing is she was in a negotiation for a contract to work with Top Rank, which would make the transition even better. But once again, they stringing them along. It's the same people. It was TV1, by the way. It was the same people. So Robert, TV1. Not saying you did anything wrong, Robert. I'm just saying you was the executive producer. So anyway, now all of these things are going on. We had to flourish and make everything legit. So my lawyer, rest in peace, Michael Marley, the great Michael Marley, drafted me a contract. So my contract was clear. Michael Marley did that, and Mr. Davis, that's me, saying that she had to pay me 15% of her income from such agreement. So Zeno got 15%. This is January of 2014, buddy. So I was to get 15% of her income. Right. with her relationship with Top Rank Incorporated, the boxing company, because I brokered the deal. So I'm a partner of her, but I've also brokered the deal. So to get this deal done, that reality show and all of that was going to be easier to do in contention because Christina is a member of Top Rank. She's signed to work with them, so it would all align together with the show. So any money she made being signed with Top Rank, I get 15%. So I would get 15% of the reality show. I would get 15%. Whatever money she was paid, if it had Top Rank attached to it, I was going to get 15%. So, yeah, so this is no cap. This is real. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you Hollywood secrets that are real. So I have a timetable to get paid. I have to get paid from 10 days from when payment went through. Payment comes in 10 days, I must be paid. Yes, I knew Bob Arum. So when you know the owner and the president, founder of the company, it was going to make the transition even better because I knew Bob. Now, I don't know what happened. She went on an interview and they just decided they were going to go in a different direction. So it didn't happen. And whatever happened, happened after that. So the reality show, I don't know what happened out of that, but Kevin Hart and his people got involved. And this is right before Kevin Hart got into the car accident with this is like right when the accident happened because they had just did, like they were working with Kevin Hart in Houston with all the comedians there, Country Wayne, and she was doing all of these things. And it was another big deal getting ready to take place. And she was around Kevin Hart and his crew because she was working with all his other kids, the Red Cup Boys and all that. Because she was working on the radio show. They had people there at the comedy club that she was helping out, managing, and boom, just like that, as soon as they was doing promo, like for one of his specials or whatever at the comedy club, Kevin Hart was premiering like one of his shows or whatever, and boom, here comes this car accident. And he had Jumanji coming out, so the crew was on the plane without him. They had just flew in, so they had to fly back out to where Kevin Hart was because he had to have surgery because his back was all messed up from the accident. So everybody was speculating what was going on. Nah, nah, nah. So, like Paula J. Parker said, and Elise Neal. See, Elise Neal and all of them were on Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow was a movie they put together on a small budget that they were begging for $10 million to make. And they had to wait for years just to get the $10 million to make the movie. So it was like, man, dude, just $10 million? They pay that for all these movies that don't make anything. And then they had, you know, Terrence Howard and all of these other people get involved in the project and they wanted to make it a pimp with a bunch of hoes. So that was right up Harvey, Harvey Weinstein's alley. So basically, the manager of Taraji P. Henson, he only signed black women. And of course, they came out and got him for sexual harassment, like forcing black women to do stuff. And he had Halle Berry, Taraji was two of his big clients, but he only signed black women. and he seemed to always hit on them and have them do stuff. And of course, Halle Berry and Taraji saying this isn't the person they know, and it was like, how could you not know? he only hires, he only signs black women, black actresses. He has a thing for black women. He's an old white guy, and he just likes black women. And yeah, so that's what he did. He got down with black women all the time. Taraji was used as the fishing line hook to try to find him new talent to go get these girls. So she went to Paula J. Parker. When they offered her the role, she turned it down because she had just played, she's tired of playing the hoe. She was like, look, I just played basically a hoe in this movie. I played, and then they say this gonna open doors for me and didn't do anything. Then she just got through playing Baby Mama with Eddie Griffin, hired her for the role because he was the producer. So he hired her for that, my baby daddy or whatever. And she was getting typecast as the hood rat, you know. That was the first time I've ever seen her is she played a hood rat in the movie. She played a hood rat and don't drink your gin and like drinking gin and the juice or something like that. Drinking gin and juice in the hood or something. Yeah, that was the first time I seen it. Like the Wayne brothers. No, that was before Friday. Drinking, don't drink your juice in South Central. She was one of the hood rat girls. Hood rats, hood rats, hood rats. She was the drunk girl drinking the 40. So by the time she came into Friday, that's when somebody else, everybody started to notice her. That's the first time I ever saw her. I remember that. You're not my mama. You're not my daddy. So that was the funny part about it because she was relative to anybody in there, but she was getting typecast. And then she was kind of a hoe and back in the day. And she just was dating and going, doing movies, dating, going to parties, dating, doing her thing. But she really didn't have a team. I really didn't have anybody behind her. So even the homegirl she worked with wasn't really behind her. So she had Taraji, and Taraji was just using them. Like, oh, she wouldn't do the movie. Can you get her, Taraji, to come do it? So Taraji went and was like, girl, you got to get in this movie. She was like, girl, I already played that. She was, no, trust me, girl. This is the hoe to play. This the hoe that's going to make you. So she ended up doing the movie based off Taraji telling her, like, this finna get you the Oscar nomination. This, like, trust me, there's talking Oscar buzz going into this. Like, Harvey wanted to see her in it anyway. Like, he had a thing for her and wanted to get down with her, wanted her to come see him. And she refused to see Harvey. And Harvey was like, I put this bitch in the movie and did this. She turned me down. How dare she turn me down? And they kept trying to want her to do weird stuff. The producers would ask stuff that wasn't in the script. Like, we want a scene with her with no panties on, and she refused to do that. They want her to take her panties off and be walking around without her panties on. And she's like, I'm not doing that. So it was, damn, she's not going to do it. But that was the producers, the sickos. They wanted to see all that. So, I mean, there was nothing, that man has been doing stuff for years in Hollywood. And they know, they just don't care. Oh, he's out the business now. Vincent Saraconi. That's his name, Vincent Saraconi. He's got all these doggone. Man, he got so many black women. I don't like it's the complaints list go on and on. He the one got her in the movie Benjamin Button, and it totally screwed her over. Because that's all he does is try to make himself a success, and that's that. Yeah, she had to fire him in 2018. Man, Taraji did some of everything to stay in Hollywood. Leah Rashawn, there he is. He only hired to represent because he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was going to do. That man was beyond disgusting, but it didn't matter to him. How far are you willing to go to lower yourself? Then they run the guilt trip on you and make you feel scandalous. But see, we play a bigger part in this too. We don't protect our black women in the business. Now they make it feel like, well, black women don't want us to protect us because they did a good job of making us look obsolete in the business because we didn't know how to fight for our positioning. We didn't say, all right, well, we got to control our end of the business. We didn't fight for that. We just took the money. And every time a black man tried to get in position to the enterprise, they said, oh, no, we can't have that. Shut it down. So they did. Every time we had a position of power or a chance to do something, nope. Think Denzel Washington said, hey, we need to change this and let's get started. Let's all put our money together. Let's do this, Y, and Z. Oh, no. That ain't happening. Because, see, that doesn't go along with the status quo of what they want to represent. You work, we pay you for work, you go home. That's what they want. They don't want anybody coming in there trying to run things. Let's get to the person that wasn't saved by the bell. Lark Voorhees, aka Lisa Turtle. We love Lisa Turtle, didn't we? We love us some Lisa Turtle. Lark Voorhees' mother was very evident in her career. See, a lot of people didn't know she grew up a Jehovah's Witness. I grew up on her because she was our, that was our, oh my God, our Stacey Dash. When we were kids, Lisa Turtle was our girl. She was the fashion girl on the show. She was the one that everyone thought outside of this would have the bigger career. They didn't have it where she would be forgotten after the show was over. Oh no, she was going to be the biggest star ever. Now, guess what happened to old Lisa Turtle? All the stuff you saw about her, right? Let me just show y'all an example of that beautiful black woman. that was turned into a woman of paranoia, insanity, and everything. They turned her into something evil and just don't even trust herself. Now, Lark knew Omar Goodman because they were all black child actors in Hollywood. And she was on the show Wild and Crazy Kids. And that was the first time she really got a chance to get out and do something outside of, being on Saved by the Bell. No other person in the cast was on there but Lark. And she got a chance to go out and express herself, have fun, and be human for a change. Now, everything factored in and changed an entire dynamic because they wanted her to be more adult and advance her, and they wanted her to take pictures in bikinis, and her mom had to fight to keep her out of certain attires on the show, and they wanted to put her in this movie, the edgier side of her, and she was like, I'm not doing that. My daughter's not doing that. She's a Jehovah's Witness. She's not going to be seen doing anything of that nature. So she was the clean good girl. So as she was growing up in the business, when Saved by the Bell ended, she really had no real connection with the rest of the cast. Like they weren't friends outside of work. Like they didn't contact each other. She was a bit aloof and talked to herself a lot, like going over lines. And they said, oh, that's her acting method. So they really didn't deal with her. She was antisocial a little bit, a little awkward, didn't know how to really socialize with people. Then in comes their dating life. Her mom's trying to set her up on dates, that with people in the industry that wouldn't waste her time. So it has to be worth it for their baby. So as everything is transpiring, you start to notice things are going in a different direction. Lark's out in California doing work, doing jobs. She got hired to do a show in New York. She was doing soap operas. Her mom got her on a soap opera. They were looking for a black face they could put on there and people were going to recognize her. And they said, oh, that's the girl from Saved by the Bell. She has a nice look and she's grown, so we could put her in these adult roles. And she could handle it. She was great on the reality show, on the soap operas, and she had constant work. Then one of the executives said, okay, we want you to come out. We're having a wrap party for the end of the season where the other executives, and we're going to talk this. And she says, oh, I can't go there. She's sticking to her Jehovah's Witness routes. So her mom says, no, you're going. You got to be there. Because she said, this is where the deals are going to be made. So she's like, you don't have to drink. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Just make sure you're there at that party. She blows the party off. She fights with her mom, saying she's grown, she can make her own decisions, and she's met someone. Like, who did you meet in New York? She's like, oh, I met this one guy. His name is Martin. You probably know him. He's really popular, Martin Lawrence. He's a comedian. He's coming up. He's got his own movie. He just did. He was in House Party and the Comedy House Party. He's now producing. He's got his own comedy show called Martin. coming out. He's on Def Comedy Jam. His mother was like, her mother was, this is the worst guy for you. But she was headstrong. She knew this is her first real love. She didn't want to disturb that, and they wanted to keep the relationship private. She was Jehovah Witness, and Martin was not trying to change her and all of this stuff, and was just basically keeping his private life private. So nobody even really knew they were dating. Then he brought her on the show, Martin. The producer was mad that she blew off the soap opera, really, to, be with Martin. So they were going to cancel her from being on the show and stop her from going on there, because his plan was to try to get up with her, and he's a white guy, and not saying she wasn't attracted to white guys. I'm not saying that, but her choice was black men. She had a thing for black men. And he was very adamantly upset about that. Now, she can act in a movie like she likes white men, no problem. But her preference in real life was black men. And they just didn't like that. So one of the white girls on the show who was with her, and they went shopping. Like, oh, let's go shopping, girl. Let's go on a shopping thing. And the white girl who was on the soap opera with her was telling her, like, you have to open yourself up to, brighter horizons, saying that basically she needs to just sleep with white men, and then she'll make it be successful. Sleep with white men. They're going to love you more. Like, she's basically telling her that in different tones. And Lisa was like thrown back by it. But well, her mom was, dealing with what was happening with her daughter. And the Martin breakup, she didn't know what was going on with her and Martin until, they rushed into getting engaged. Martin had to basically hide the fact he was smoking weed, and weed turned into other drugs, so he was out of his mind sometimes. Martin would be real serious, and then they would get into arguments and fights, and she'll be trying to console him and don't know what's going on. He'll come back from the show, and Laura didn't cook. Like, she was not a person who cooked, because she was trying to read, she worked too. So if she's at home all day, she's doing stuff like rehearsing or practicing for roles or something, and there's no food, and Martin would come home and go snap because there's no food in the house. Like, there's nothing in the refrigerator. You didn't order nothing. You didn't. She's like, I don't know what you like to eat. If if you're hungry, there's something you like to eat, please let me know. I'll go get it. Like we can just order food. Like, and Martin, he's thinking, I need Susie Housemaker. And he's upset about that. He's coming home, there's no food there. She's like, well, what do you have a taste for? I'll go get it. He's like, I'm coming home, I just want to eat. I just want to sit down and so I come home, smell some food cooking. Like, my mother used to always have food cooking. As soon as I walk through the door, that's what I want. When you gonna be my wife. So they were engaged. And of course they had their arguments and fights, but they never broke up. And he went on like Arsenio Hall's show or something, talking about he's about to get married. And it was a girl named Pat who ended up marrying Emmitt Smith too. I already did that video, but she ended up marrying Emmitt Smith after she left Martin. But she ended up, he proposed to Pat. She found out like on a Arsenio Hall show. That's how she found out. Like, the whole time he was dating a whole nother woman, and she didn't even know it, and that crushed her. So she went through a lot because that hurt her trust, everything. Well, she went to do the movie How to Be a Player, She had did that movie and then have all this happen is like right after, like it was kind of like How to Be a Player. How mad she got at the end when she found out he was cheating, and it ended up happening to her in real life, in real time. Martin was, I wouldn't say Martin was a menace. He became a menace because of the work in the entertainment industry. He was being pursued in a way that you wouldn't understand. He was a black man on television doing something that has never been done. He was the first one to really feature a black relationship in the real world. Like you saw in a different world do that from the college perspective with black relationships with Whitley and Dwayne, but it wasn't really in the real world. They were still at college. This was basically working people. Like Martin had a job, she had her job, she had her own apartment, he had his, and they're dating. So you're at that stage and showing that to other young black people, and for us to not even have a show showcasing that when there was like 5,000 white shows that do that every day. It's like crazy that we've never had that. It's like, do they think we don't watch television? Like we don't exist? So it's kind of crazy when you look at it in totality. Martin started doing a lot of erratic things. He went nuts, flipped out, almost lost his life. He was in his underwear with a firearm, just going crazy in the streets because he had smoked PCP, a blunt laced with PCP, and he was gone. Yeah, yeah, they trying to kill me. That's what he grabbed his gun. Martin was already paranoid. He was super paranoid all the time. When he got married to Pat, he was like, the media knows where it is. We're switching it. On the day of the wedding, he switched the whole wedding to another church. No, they're gonna be out of press out there. And everybody who's in the wedding don't even know. They're at the church where the wedding's supposed to be. And they was like, the wedding's not here. So the wedding was super late because everybody, half of the people was going to the church where it was supposed to be at. And it was Martin at the last minute moved churches and forgot to give the information to everybody. Now everybody who's got hotels and flew in, they're like, look, we don't have time to be going over there. Oh, he's way more paranoid than Tupac. But a lot of people thought they hated each other or something. Man, they were boys. Like he loved Tupac. I had to clear that up for people. I was like, man, y'all just be trying to rewrite history so much, it's crazy. Oh no, that's because that's what they wanted to happen. They won't believe that everybody is against somebody or that narrative that took place. And when they did the reunion, she was not in a good space. Lark Voorhees started, she got married, she dated another guy right away on a rebound. And she dated him for some years, and they broke up because her behavior, she couldn't trust him. And because of what happened with Martin, she was a mess. She didn't know how to handle that type of breakup. And with that Jehovah Witness thing going on, she was already brainwashed into that religion. So it was, yeah. So she ended up suffering from a lot of bipolar episodes because of it. And she didn't even realize she was sick. So they kept telling, she didn't believe them when they telling her that. She's like, I'm fine. So she married this like crip. And that was the worst thing ever. The marriage lasted like 6 months. He was spending her money, trying to tell her she needs to make a sex tape. It was all kind of craziness. Yeah, they went to Vegas, got married. This dude was completely ready to use this. I'm like, Lark Voorhees just married a guy she met on Facebook. Like, what happened to her? So she made a guest appearance on the show for like one episode or a couple episodes before it went off the air, or Saved by the Bell. It's a lot of pressure. Martin couldn't handle the pressure because they were putting a lot of pressure on Martin to be his new superstar. And he turned down a movie and it pissed him off. He wanted to do, well, he produced, directed, he did everything on that movie with what's that? What's that? Whitfield, Lynn Whitfield, and he had Bobby Brown as his co-star. And Martin he was dead serious about that movie, man. He put everything in that movie. So he did not want to. Love don't cost a thing. No, it's a thin line between love and hate. It's a thin line. Like Martin was going off the lyrics of the song. Listen to the lyrics. That's what it, man. We gotta make. That's gonna be the movie, man. People say that's Martin's best movie. It's thin line between love and hate, but it changed into one thing to another. Martin made Thin Line instead of doing the movie they wanted him to make. And when he didn't do the movie they wanted him to make, it kind of pissed them off. hmm Will had it. I mean, Martin had his own deals, and Will had his deals, but Will deal was incredible. They took Will Smith and didn't take Martin. Martin was the key to the whole Bad Boys franchise. Wasn't Mike Lowry. It was Martin was the whole first movie. His dynamic of being with that girl the whole time. She the material witness. So Martin had to play the dynamic of the role of the fact that, he got to live with this woman and basically pretend to be him And Martin had to do all the work, like the heavy lifting, because Will wasn't polished enough. Like Martin has acting chops, plus he's a comedian. Will just was on Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but he wasn't an established actor like that. So they got him to be the guy who's doing all the stunts. And they got him, oh, well, he's the light skinned guy that look good. He's Mike Lowry. He could be that flamboyant guy. But as far as the acting chops, they gave that to Martin. Yeah, Martin was the guy. So he led all the funny scenes, everything was Martin. Hello, hello, hello. Don't play with a man family, man. He was paranoid all the time. That's why on the show Martin, people was like, Martin was a horrible boyfriend. Oh, black women will tell you that right away. They didn't like Martin as a boyfriend. He was like, he was funny, but I couldn't deal with Martin. He was jealous, possessive, paranoid on the show. I'm like, well, it's kind of like how he is in life. No, because they don't have this stuff for us. Where's the black Hollywood shoot? Where they have all the outfits laid out for you for the walkway. Do you want to be here? No. But see, this is why Olivia Wilde and all the other models who end up transforming themselves into actors in Hollywood because they had to play the role. In order for her to get seen, she had to be naked. She had to go down there, sleep with producers, the whole thing. Then she's at the Alexandra Wayne affair, and all of these people wearing the same outfits. And she married a guy, had kids with him because she thought he was going to improve her career, and it didn't really help. Megan Thee Stallion, same thing, you know, somebody who they didn't put in that industry, to protect her. They're making a lot of money off her, getting her to do and conform because she's going to influence other black people to do the same thing, other young black girls to conform. And then they could stick whatever new white artists they want to promote, stick them next to Meg the Stallion and promote and market. And all she did was replace Nicki Minaj. It is a simple process in the game. Yeah, I have to do these videos late at night, or you'll never see it happen. You got Alexandria Daddario, who got famous because of her breasts, and they wanted to showcase her. She was a model. She was young, getting all these movie roles. She wanted to be taken seriously. Then you got Brie Larson, who was never looked at as serious until she came up on a movie and she started. Actually, she's one of the realest people you ever want to meet. A lot of men hate her because she's not what they expected her to be because she's not a racist. They told her to, stop trying to cater to black folks. And she was like, nah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. So she used her connections to help out everybody in the organization. She loves the rainbow people, just people in general, blacks, the whole nine. So Brie Larson, her only Avengers person she would even talk to was Samuel L. Jackson. That was it. She didn't get along with anybody. She didn't like Thor, Chris Hemsworth. She doesn't have a good relationship with him. She doesn't have a good rapport with anybody really on Marvel. And the dude right there in the middle, the fashion guy, who's a girl, I don't know what to call him. Absolutely, Sam stood up for her because she stood up for black folks. So that's why Sam was in Captain Marvel. And you see nobody else was in Captain Marvel. Her and Sam, she did an independent movie on her own, and Sam came and did her movie basically for nothing. See, yes, Brie Larson, she's always stood by. Yeah, she's always stood by the brothers. Now, here's the thing. What I tell you, they put them in the same dresses. That's not an accident. That's because they want to promote this girl, the Dario. They want to push her because they like her look. She's got blue eyes. She's super pale, and she has huge boobs. So let's go ahead and push her. And we don't like this girl over here who's already over, but we got to stop this because she went the wrong way and started promoting black people. I don't know what the quality looked like. They probably spamming it right now. That's how Hollywood works, man. And if you don't wake up, the TV One executive who was in charge of production, Robert Wesley Branch, who's the executive in charge for TV One, yeah, he knows what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Like this is not a accident. This is a real television program show. Like these guys are people that answer to people. I'm not saying they all did something. They had Lee Hughes, who always used to come up with the storylines. Uh, you have a set preparation, people who make sets. You know, these people really have a studio. You know, Tony, what's his name, McEwen, who's the director. He's known for TV One as far as doing television for the shows that they got, the programs. But then they also have a lot of other people that they've acquired and brought along the way. But TV One wasn't ran correctly, in my opinion. And I was like, it's going to be subject to fall. Oh, it's grainy on the screen right now. I know what they're doing. They sabotage. Did that fix it? You see? I'm glad y'all told me. I would have never known because on my end, it doesn't show it as grainy. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of things are soulless because they don't have the right emotions. Uh, it's like using an AI character. A lot of these people are just out here spiraling. Oh yeah, the Golden Globes did not, even though he was nominated, they snubbed Michael B. Jordan to praise Timothy Chalamet for, I think, Marty Supreme, giving him the Golden Globe Award. Now, Timothy Chalamet, Chalamet, whatever, is the actor I told you. They force these guys down your throat. Um, Sinners is by far way more superior movie than Marty Supreme. Um, Marty Supreme is a good movie, but to me, it's like overload, repeat to a satisfying end, maybe. But it's the Zafty brothers, it's one of the Zafty brothers, and their style of how they tell the film is just gritty, but it's the same type of movies where Sinners was critically acclaimed, and the fact that he had to play two different characters, Michael B. Jordan, he definitely embodied what that experience was like. So I'm just saying it was way better for him. Well, Sinners is always going to hit home more for me because I'm going to have more of a connection to that. They looked identical, but was completely different in that way. Hmm. Hey, what's up? What's up, Jennifer? But they did the same thing to Angela Bassett. They didn't want her to win for Black Panther, even though they knew she was the best. You know, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't. No, you see the dynamics of what people expect and how people plans are escalating. They're gravitating around what people supposed to look alike and what they're not supposed to look alike. So come on, stop. Hollywood's in trouble because films don't really make money anymore. They're all taking a loss, actually, all of them. They Have you been to the movies? How much is a movie ticket? Now, let's say, what's the big movie out this year? Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. let's say the average movie costs 30, 40 million dollars, right? You're paying how much for a movie ticket today? Basically nothing. Movies are free. They have free plans for you to just look up and go into a movie theater now. I'm dead serious. You can go into a movie theater for nothing. They enroll you in a plan where you pay $20 a month. Pay $20 a month and you can see movies unlimited. That means free. As many times as you want for $20 a month. The price of one movie, you can watch as many movies as you want. Now, why is that? Why do they have why do they have it that way? Why do they have it where it's essential for everyone else right? You go to a movie theater now, you sit down there, almost half the movie theater is empty. Why? People are not even going, and the movies are free. They're not selling movies anymore. They're not selling those tickets. You're not getting you're not getting the movies that you thought you were gonna get anymore. Those days are long gone. You know what you're getting now? Leftovers, scraps. The movies are not making the money. And for the ones that are successful, that one out of a billion, the movie theaters survive off of the concessions. This is why they're using bundles. Like they're bringing, every movie they come out with now, you got all these toys that's at the movie theater. That's how they make their money, off merch. So they attach themselves to the merch, just like the music business. Every movie now, they got merch right at the theater when you get there. Popcorn bucket merch. People will pay it because it's collectibles. I'm buying it. It'd be like $89, buying it. Need it for the collection. So they getting their money through that. They don't care about anything else. This is how they getting their money. Now, here's the bigger news. Why is everyone going down this slippery slope? Because they were told to. Yeah. If someone told you to do something and you didn't want to do it, let's say they put this plan out here for everyone and you didn't want to do it. Said, man, I'm not going with that program. I don't want to do that. Why I got to do X, Y, and Z? That's already set you up for a disaster. Streaming changed the game because now you can get the movie sitting right at home, and that's helping more people become lazy, unhealthy, not doing the things they properly should do, taking care of their bodies, etc. And we know it. So what does that lead to? More death, more famine, more heart attacks, more everything, because you don't want to go out. Now you only go out to the movies if your kids want to go, because kids want to get out the house, they want to do things. But now you're talking about it's too expensive. It's not too expensive. You basically paying nothing. You pay more at the concessions than you do for the movie. But they're spending millions of dollars to make these movies, hundreds of millions for some of them. So how are they paying these actors? How are they paying these people? Because they know they need to have you entertained. So they will pay this to have you keep coming out, getting you out to consume, to keep the Ferris wheel going. But yes, they've limited the majority of casinos. I mean, not casinos, but movie theaters. Oh no. The girl, everybody had a bigger career than pretty much, you know, than Lisa Turtle, the girl who played Tiffany, Thazin or whatever. Everybody thought her and Zach was gonna get together in real life. I'm like, no, this is Tiffany's doing her own thing, and she got her own family, had kids, and her career started to take off and go on its own course. So she got movie roles, but it wasn't that big for her. Um, was that Mark Hosselar? You know, he's the one that had television shows, Zach. But everybody know the biggest star, who I always thought would be the biggest star anyway, was Slater. You know, he was Mario Lopez. He was a guy that continued to stay in shape. He didn't move around like, oh, I need security everywhere. Mario Lopez just move around like Mario Lopez. He's a real individual. So, mm-mm. Well, Lifetime movies pay a lot of money. You see, that's what people don't understand. It depends on what you're doing. Like Lifetime movies have a small budget, but for certain actors, they have a contract. You know, it's a lot of Christian people that went over to the Lifetime, and then they went to the other network that they got, and it started a whole controversy. Like Kirk Cameron and his sister, they're like the believers, like they're diehard religionists, and they just don't know how to turn it off. It's like their own 24/7. No. Um, I mean, you gotta have to understand that this is a dynamic of anybody in Hollywood, right? You know, when you start saying we need to move in this direction, this is the best thing for us. We need to when you start looking at it in that form, oh no. That's because you don't have a degree of understanding. When you have a degree of understanding, then you know that there are real um, obstacles in your life, and then there are people who get it. Like they say, there's people who get it, and there's people who don't. Well, yeah. Well, which one you are? Which one are you gonna be? You the one that get it, or you the one that's just holding up progress? Oh yeah, man. hmm I'm gonna tell y'all a great story. I'm gonna tell you how this thing works, right? A girl who's in a strip club, sucking guys off. All these top celebrities that come in, sleeping with them in the back, sucking them off in the back, going with them to hotels, from rappers, entertainers, all of it. Until one rapper decided, oh, you look too good for this. I don't want you sucking nobody else off. I want you to just suck me off. And brought her out and made her a star. Amber Rose. Amber Rose grew up with a family that were diehard racist towards blacks. She wanted to know what was she missing out on. She had to get with the blacks. She loved all the black people, her family. She was rebellion at her family. And you've seen this happen a lot. She goes against what she was raised under, and they believed in segregation and went against everything. And she wanted anything black. So her life didn't pan out to too much, but her body and the looks and using anything she can to attract rich black men. She wanted rich black men. And that's how she was making her way. She got Wiz Khalifa to be stupid after her and Kanye broke up. And she ended up becoming famous for being his girlfriend. And then they calling her a model. I'm like, model? What the hell did she model? She was a stripper in a strip club, not a model. But they'll take a woman like that and put prominence on them. She would go out and find other strippers and bring them out, and they put them as celebrity events. She can come out and say slut walk and come out and pimp other girls and steal their money and do all these other things. with Black China. She was hooking Black China up with some of these other entertainers in the business. That was her business. Oh, I'm going to hook you up with all these guys and take these girls and work my girls, and we're gonna do the slut walk. Slut walk. Y'all make it out to be an ugly thing. Okay. Now, what is she doing? She's repping MAGA, got a Trump chain around her neck. Trump, where you gonna be when this is over? See? And now, you know what she says? Oh, I took a genealogy test. I'm black. And it was like, where? Where are you black at? You're a white woman. You're not black. But she wants to be black. Now you got all these white women that want to be black. I mean, Chris Humphreys got an African American. He's a mixed kid. Uh, Chris Humphrey looked like Blake Griffin. You know, Blake is one of those mixed guys who don't really associate. You got Meghan Markle or whatever. Oh yeah, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, same thing. It don't really matter. Oh, it doesn't matter. Jamie Presley to Denise Richards. Well, Jamie Presley wanted to fall back from, they were pushing her all the way to the top. Jamie Presley was it. She was the new blonde bombshell that they wanted to promote. And she started to pull back from Hollywood because these guys are getting a little too familiar with her. And she's just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that role. I don't want to do this, and I don't want to sleep with that guy, and I don't want to sleep with this guy. Oh, you don't? Is that how we're gonna play this game? Don't ignore my comments, you know. Well, I just read it. Yeah, getting Tori out. Yes, she did. Tori's not getting out. Tried to tell people that they didn't want to listen. So, what did they do for Jamie Presley? Hmm. Margot Robbie and Jamie Presley. Jamie Presley was in Joe Dirt. She was in all of these different comparisons, right? And now she was in Not Another Teen Movie with of course, Captain America, Chris Evans. And she was the it girl in there, and they was going to make her a star. But she was stepped over when she didn't want to play ball. And Margot Robbie, who came out of nowhere, had her breakout movie with The Wolf of Wall Street, where she agreed to get nude. Jamie Presley said no. Her intro scene was that scene in that movie. And this is a Martin Scorsese movie. She had only been in a movie in Australia. That's it. And Margot Robbie took over. Yeah, all the roles went to Margot Robbie, and Jamie Presley got nothing. And everyone's saying they look just alike. That's how Hollywood gets you back. Look at them, side by side. It's Margot Robbie, round three. That's Margot Robbie, of course. Jamie Presley. Oh, oh, that's Jamie Presley, of course. Jamie Presley. Margot Robbie, of course. Jamie Presley. Neither. Okay. What's up, Mr. Cooker? They said we cannot see the picture. Margot Robbie was in every movie that Jamie Presley would have been in. Oh, come on now. Why do you think Elise Neal got out the business? Will Smith and basically Jada Pinkett Smith got her fired from All of Us TV show. How did that happen? I know I started on it about an hour ago, but let's go through it now. How did that happen? It happened because what's that? It happened because she wouldn't conform over to the Scientology. She wasn't part of that circle with them. And since she didn't want to buy in to what they were doing, she had to go. See, Lisa Ray was on point. Lisa Ray was bought in. So she was part of that circle already. They knew they could trust Lisa Ray. They didn't have to worry about Lisa. So putting Lisa Ray in on the show and making her like the main star of the show now, and Elise Neal is on her way out and her exit because she didn't want to play ball, almost ruined her entire career. How about them Patriots? What about him? Did they beat the Steelers? Oh, you got Izza Gonzalez. She wanted to be taken serious in the business, so she became a Christian Catholic. Um, and they got what Alexandria Dario to do that. Oh yeah, they have the Christian Catholic thing now with like the Hathaway family and Rich Hollywood. And Amber Heard is part of the atheists. We don't believe in anything, you know. Yeah, Angelina Jolie, she's part of the Christian Catholics, and Mina Kunis is part of the Scientology. Kate Winslet, that's a Christian. Christian Stewart is part of the Christian Catholic. Yes, Julia Roberts, she supports the Hindu nation, like she's part of their religion. Natalie Portman is part of the Scientology group. Scarlett Johansson, same thing. Scientology. Janet Jackson, Janet Jackson was part of the different movement. The Christian Catholic is, man, that's the new thing blowing up now. I'm a Christian Catholic. I got both sides. That's Emma Stone, Ana de Armas. Whew, she's in Scientology now. She's not even in that anymore. With Gail Gadot, Keira Knightley, Megan Fox, who's an atheist. Her whole family was Christian before she came to this. Rachel McAdams says she's agnostic, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Eva Green, she was 100% in that realm of Scientology. Camilla Bell, she is Christian Catholic. Anna Paquin is agnostic. I don't even know who those people are. Oh, Zoe Salonda, she's Christian Catholics, baby. Christian Catholic get you paid. Aldrich, the Olsons family, they don't believe in any religion whatsoever. Oh yeah, Nicole Kidman, she's Christian Catholics, and they're high on the pay list. You know, it's like you got to pay to play. No. Jamie Presley still had a career, but it mostly went towards television. And then she didn't enjoy the success Margot Robbie did because she didn't want to get nude. So, yeah, she would have had Harley Quinn role first. It was going to her, not Margot Robbie. Well, I don't understand the dynamics of that. Hollywood pay scales are not guaranteed. Like, it's not like a set price. Everything is a negotiation from how many points you want in a movie, or a Hollywood A-lister contract. What does that even look like? All of them have special conditions. Like, they might say you have to pay my assistant. I need two assistants. I need a stylist. I need a hair. I can't get up until 4 p.m. You know, I'm only gonna shoot in the daytime. I can't shoot at nighttime. Depending if you have to deal with the conditions of the person you're dealing with. You have people with eccentric personalities. Like Keira Knightley. She made sure that the directors knew she had no nudity in her contract. There's not going to be any nudity with her whatsoever. She didn't want to do it. And so Reese Witherspoon, who's a conservative woman, so she has it that she has to approve the wardrobe. Keanu Reeves says, I cannot be digitally enhanced without my permission. So he has that in his contracts. You cannot digitally enhance him in a movie, without his condition. I mean, he needs his permission for all of it. Now, certain pay scale, let's say the black actor does this role, they're not going to get the same price as the white actor because they'll say, oh, you're not a draw. They don't push them to be the draw. So they want to pay them less. So it's only a handful of them that are making money. Hmm. Is that compete? You got to work up to the way to have that there. I mean, you got to work up to having things done. No, it's entirely different. I know what you're saying, but it's entirely different. Look, when you've been in the game for so long and you've been doing things on a scale that other people haven't even recognized yet, and say this was built for this while you're filming it, you have to understand that there's other people who are on the same level as you, that are in the same circles as you. Well, the thing is they have production company like Denzel's sons have it. They can't distribute. That's what they need. They need to control distribution. Now with streaming, you can go directly to the consumer. So Tyler Perry has his own studio. So if Tyler Perry can produce and make his own movies, Eddie Murphy just went and made a movie there, and so did they did Bad Boys 4 over there. So it's like, okay, why ain't everybody black going over there to Tyler Perry? Or they get their own studios. That's why Cat Williams is building his own studio. Because they said, hey, 50 Cent's building his. And it's like, wow, why didn't anyone else think to do this before? Because now that's when they're going to turn on you. The moment you start to do these things, they're going to turn on you. Soon as Cat Williams started doing that, right on the studios, his security guard murdered somebody they knew. Another comedian that was friends with Cat Williams, right? Now there's something that can go away. Hmm. Steven Seagal having his contract that it's limited to what someone could land a blow on him. Like what he would allow to lose a fight. He would not lose in a fight in his movies. And that's why in Steven Seagal's movies, you never really see him get hit in a movie. He might get shot and he act like it doesn't even bother. It's in his contract, like in his contract. That's why his fight scenes were so terrible. There was no last stage fight scene. Yes, Queen Latifah has it in her contract that her character can't die ever since Set It Off. Yep. Samuel Jackson has a stimulation that he gets to play golf 2 times a day. He has, no matter what movie he's filming, you got to get him a membership or a guest membership, and he's got to play golf at least 2 times a day. Roger Moore, he has cigars. Cigars was his thing. That was his taste of choice. Yeah, but she didn't do the type of movies or film where her character would require in life or death situations. Since Set It Off. So, I often worried about, like, I didn't worry. I wondered, like, man, what would happen in this situation? I wonder what would happen in that. I wonder what this would look like. I wonder what that would look like. I often brought that up. I never really got into that, bro. I never did. I tell you, I just try to keep people out of the entertainment business. If you can't control the business, if you can't control the scenarios, don't get in it. You know why? Because they don't care what you're going to do. They don't care how it's going to end up. There's so much on the table right now. I wouldn't do anything. No, I decided to take a different route. Oh, come on, get real. The the people, they love to play that game. HBO wanted to show they wasn't racist, so by putting on The Wire, because they put Tony Sopranos and the racist ass Soprano show, they put that on. David Chase is a get out of here. David Chase is a racist scumbag, just like all the rest of them. Look, I'm gonna tell you, I like the Sopranos, but these guys are pretty much on the racist side. Yeah, they just have it in their mind where they feel black actors need to be. And people, they put the Sopranos on a pedestal. And it's only really the first 3 or 4 seasons it was good. I would say the first 3 seasons. Season 4 is where it started to fall off. And I'm like, there's only 6 seasons of The Sopranos. Six. And people's like, it's a classic show. It's the first, like, I would say the first 3 seasons are gold. Season 4 is when things start to go off the rails. We get to Pie Oh My and all of that. And after 4, that was it. Whitecaps, that basically was the end of The Sopranos. Whitecaps episode was the end of The Sopranos. Because season 5 was ridiculous. When they brought in what's his name? And they had the two Tonys. And I'm like, oh, you brought him into the family. This isn't gonna go well. I mean, when you start seeing the level of what people would put themselves through. Oh yeah, The Sopranos last season was terrible. But it highlighted black people love The Sopranos though. You know why? Because we love the mob movies. Even it was okay to accept the racism. Tony was a bigoted, racist individual who eventually, he did business with blacks, but he didn't want them around his house or his family or anything else. And that was accepted as a standard because they said, oh, yeah, I know Italians like that right now. Of course. You know, a lot of people that's prejudiced and racist. But here's the thing, black folks ain't breaking their neck to get to your house. Black folks don't want to be around you either. That's what they act like they got all this everything that we want so bad. It's like, no, we don't want to be around you. And we want to hang around with you. What's interesting about you? Oh, 9 times out of 10, they're around the way racist against each other for no reason. They find a way to be racist to each other. Oh, finding out actors that are really racist in Hollywood, there's plenty of them. But you'll never know because they'll never let you see that side of them. But there's plenty of them. I mean, they know it. They have their own little groups. You got what's his name? The little guy. We were just talking about Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino loved black people because he gives black people chances. But there's some things about Tarantino I don't like. And some people think because they sleep with black women that they're not racist because they sleep with black women and they cool with black people because they grew up around black people, that they don't have racist tendencies. And it gives them a green light to say racist shit. And that's where Tarantino makes a huge mistake. I've seen white guys get like that. Man, I got black friends, man. Shoot, I can say this word if I want to. I'm like, no, you can't. And here's the thing. I can't stop that man right there from what he gonna do to you if he hear you say that word one more time. My extent was to give you the warning. That's where my job ends. I warned you. This is not okay. Now, if I warn you it's not okay and you continuously do it, don't look at me. That's all I got to say. Do not look at me. I believe y'all saw what happened last time that happened. I don't want to hear that. You ain't even help me, man. Watch your mouth. Now, don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. Appreciate y'all who automatically did it without me having to tell y'all. My Cash App is Carceno, which is Karceno. And Super Chat work. In case you want to support the channel, we appreciate all the love and support. Now, let's get to the gist of things, you know. I love to get to that. I remember there was there was a show that was on that was real about prison called Oz, right? Now, the actor who was the lead actor who was in the wheelchair in Oz, they had a scene where he was supposed to get up, right? They were supposed to attack him, strip him of all his clothes, and try to take advantage of him. Some of the white inmates. And somebody said, this is not a good look. It was like, no, this is prison life. You know, this is what happens in the prison. And him being in a wheelchair, they was like, the dude in the wheelchair is probably more protected than anybody else in the prison. So the prisoners was like, if somebody let something like that happen in there, they would send the deck up. Like, everybody gonna go. Like, that would not happen. That dude probably got shanks and everything on that wheelchair. So don't assume that that's the way it's gonna end up. So Oz was on there, and the guy who was the guy with the dreads, and they had him in there. He ended up getting a role in, I believe he took the place of Dozer for the Matrix movie. He became New Dozer. Now they kept wanting to have him naked in the scenes because one of the guys who was working on who was the producer that ended up being a producer on the documentary with the Booty Warrior. Cause see, I'm a warrior. I like booty. And he was a gay white producer. And he loved seeing that character naked and wanted to see him being taken from behind by another naked white man or something. It was like, he was trying to push that agenda on Oz, and the character said, I'm not about to do that. I did one nude scene and that's it. But they were saying like he was licking his lips when he was nude. Like he was like licking his lips, like, like, oh my God, like that guy is so hung. And it was like, that's not something you say. That's so inappropriate to say on a set. You know, like you're there to film. You know, you're the producer, really. You shouldn't even be there. It should be a closed set. So he's like feeling weird about this. And, you know, it caused almost, you know, some problems, but, you know, they finished the show, but I could tell this is where the show was going to end. Because as popular as it got, it abruptly ended. And I'm telling you, it had something to do with probably that producer. They never talk about it. Oz never got a final season. really, it just ended. Coming a long way, shit. Yeah, man. So that's why they always try to strip black actors and make them play nude roles. Right? I told you about what they did to the guy from The Chi. They did the same thing to Kel in the Mystery Man movie. That script none of that was in the script. That Kel would be nude in the movie. They wrote that scene in there as they was making the movie. And it was a big fight because, it's religious belief. He was with the church. He does a kid show. And to have him come out completely nude on the set to where he has to cover himself, it was a crazy thing. People were really freaking out, and his mother fought the studio and everybody, man, and it led to a lot of bad things for Kel after that movie shoot. After they wrapped that movie, the producer really, had a hard time with the mother, and Kel's mom. And he ended up doing the nude scene. He's like, I'm just gonna do it. Let's just get it over with. So he did the scene, and you see it in the movie where he only can become invisible when no one looks at him. So when he did it, he went invisible for the first time. All of his clothes fall off. So when they see him, he's completely nude, and then he covers himself. So he had to stay there completely nude. They couldn't CGI the stuff off, so he had to be completely nude for them to do that. Yes, I remember the controversy. Terrence Howard, they made him strip down and get nude for Get Rich or Die Trying. 50 Cent had to get nude in the prison scene, but they had the fight scene. They always want a black man to get completely naked. They want to strip a black man down to his last. Look how they did Countess Vaughn. She was great on Moesha. She was great on the Parkers. She didn't do anything wrong. But she didn't meet Hollywood standards of what a actress should be. She's got weight problems, and because she got weight problems, they want her to feel weird about her body and her image and everything about herself. Yvette Wilson, who was on the same show, she went through the same problems in Hollywood. You know, weight issues, and they act like black guys didn't date big girls. A lot of them dated big girls. So it was the stereotypical way of selling image. Early on, yeah. That's how it worked too, early on. Yeah, the guy, Jonathan Taylor, he was the hit child star who's supposed to be the new kid on the block. Yeah, he was on Home Improvement with Tim Allen. Ho, 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 ho. And he freaked out after he got hit on by a producer. Tim Allen came and stood up for him. He started rebelling, started smoking weed, ended up getting fired from the show, started having temper tantrums. A whole lot of stuff going on. And he was hired to play Junior in Little Giants, and they replaced him with Devin Sawa. Hey, what's up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Hey, it's ready? It's ready?
It's ready?
Yeah. You?
Yeah, I'm just ready to order.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, you ready? Okay, I want, well, all right, bud. Okay, all right. Woo. Yeah, it's 24-hour food, man. So it's 24 hours. They don't close. That's got to be breaking code regulations, but hey, a 24-hour Mexican restaurant. Y'all want to get rid of these people? Y'all nuts. They can stay as long as they want. Long as they making these tacos. Ooh, blingy, blingy, blingy. I'm Mr. Bling Bling. The Bears is blingy. Ooh, iced out. I'm the homie with the ice on me. If it costs less than 20, don't look right on me. Yeah. Oh, what's up, princess? Oh, yeah. Tim Allen was, back in his earlier days of his arrest. But no, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was supposed to be the big star. And he lost a lot of movie roles to Macaulay Culkin and all the other childhood stars coming up because they weren't protected. Now, it's not like every black actor has to go through that casting situation, but it's a lot of them have to go through an initiation. And it's sad. A lot of business deals are done. I know I just showed you the contract I had with Carla, but there's a lot of business deals done inside of strip clubs, comedy clubs, golf courses. That's where a lot of business contracts are conducted and done. And you'd be like, why? Well, golf clubs are exclusive. You know, it's not too many public golf clubs. You have to be invited by a member to be there. So they don't have to worry about outsiders. You want people that you can trust in those situations, and everybody knows and understands the times in which they do. They string you along with promises and deals that never come true, and they'll allow you to basically sacrifice your time, your energy, you put your passion, and then they will rob you of your idea, strip mine you of it. Did you realize The Matrix was written by a black woman? The Terminator and The Matrix both was written by a black woman. And she said, why do you think they can't make a good sequel to The Matrix? Because they don't understand it. They don't understand where it comes from. They stole it from me and tried to make it into their own thing. Once the first movie became a hit, a cult classic, the money is going to be made on the sequels. The first movie didn't make the money. The next movie is going to make the money. So this is where the money comes in at. Now they're like, well, we don't need her. We got our own Hollywood producers that's going to make it. And it's like, you don't know the ingredients. How are you going to make something just based off what you've seen, but you don't know the ingredients behind it? I know the ingredients, so only I really could have wrote the sequel to The Matrix. They don't understand it. She did. Sophia Stewart is her name. Yeah, she won the lawsuit. Yeah, she won the lawsuit against Warner Brothers because it was obvious that's what they did. They stole it. They got the money and the power to do that. They can steal anything from you. And they'll keep her in litigations until she dies. And if she wins, she won't be able to collect anything. They'll marginal it down to we didn't make any profit, and she'll have to settle for pennies on the dollars, all the lawyer fees, everything. By the time you go through all of it, it might not even be worth it. People will sue you when you're rich just so that you can settle with them, just to pay it off, to go away. I'll never forget, Floyd Mayweather was in a club. A guy bumped into him and claimed that Floyd Mayweather beat him up in the nightclub. Right? This guy initially tried to start something with Floyd Mayweather on his own accord. Floyd never touched this man. Never anything. Yeah, he did. He appeared on the that Living Color scene, and he played Home Alone. Another role that would have been his. They said he was too old to play that role at the time. She wrote the script for Terminator. A lot of people didn't know that. She came up with the idea for Terminator. Same woman that did The Matrix. That's why it was success. That's why the other Terminators didn't work, because they don't know that. She's like, they don't know where it comes from. They just feel they can make whatever movie they want and it's all good. Oh, Misunderstood Always is up, work, rocking with us. That's what's up. They're supposed to be in the same universe. Well, the other Matrix movies they made just made no sense. They destroyed the fabric of the first one, especially the last one. It was the one where he ends up fighting. Those were just for money. Then they're talking about doing another one. Now they got Trinity. She's the one right along with Neo. I'm like, really? Now Trinity's the one? Really? We're doing that? Okay. I think we're ready to go.
It's ready.
All right. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I wish you was here, Misunderstood, because I think I was misunderstood when I was placing the order. He just kept telling me, okay, okay, okay. Now, if I come in and come back home and I got pork, I'm going to be upset. Because I did not say pork. Well, that's the lie they tell black actors all the time. They tell black actors, oh, the reason you didn't get this is because you got to get nominated for these AFTA award, BAFTA, and Golden Globes. And the more you're nominated, people get to see your work, you know, and so the more you're nominated, so now that you're nominated for an Oscar, just the nomination is putting you on the radar. So the majors, they're going to be looking for you. That stuff only matters if you're white. Okay? And it depends on who you belong to. If you are a Asian or Latino, if you're white, that stuff applies to you. The Oscar can enhance you. It does not enhance you if you're black. Plenty of black people. Look at Monique. Well, Monique, they sabotaged her career because she asked to be compensated for going to the award shows. I mean, you look at Taraji P. Henson, she never did a role that was, I would say, well, she did. Wait, I take that back. She did do a role that was pretty much Oscar worthy, but she's never going to get nominated for it. But Tyler Perry was the only one that was paying her and paying her what she deserved. And here she is doing this movie for Oprah, and she's getting crumbs. She's getting pennies on the dollar, and she has to come out and complain about it. She had to fire her own team, all of that. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen. When Taraji has done so many movies. She got nominated for Benjamin Button, but she had to pay for her own reshoots. It was disgusting. Oh, why are you surprised? They gave it to Timothy Chalamet, the guy they promoting. They put him in every movie. Oh, Dune, he's gonna be in Spider-Man. He's gonna be this, he's gonna be that. Timothy Chalamet. They want to push this guy because that's who they banking. Marty Supreme was a good movie, was not better than Sinners. Clearly wasn't. Definitely for me. You know, they might say, hey, well, you might have a cultural bias. No, as a movie, it is a better movie than Marty Supreme. I mean, Marty Supreme's a good movie, but not like that. They're two different type of movies altogether. They're both period pieces. And to see Sinners and Michael B. Jordan get robbed out of his performance. What's up, Claude? Uncle Claude. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with Catwoman as far as the direction. I think they were making it more like modern with action scenes and making it just a spectacle. And that was the director's choice. From the wardrobe to everything. They made it like a music video. I'm like, this is like a music video than a movie. That almost destroyed everybody's career. Because Halle Berry was hot at that time. Everything she was doing was like gold. Until she did Catwoman, and they all blamed her. I'm like, how y'all blaming her? Y'all filmed this. This was a disaster. But Claude, Uncle Claude, man, I'm telling you, your name rings bells. Because you remind me of one of my favorite movies. It's called Apology. It came out, I believe, in the 90s. And this lady had this show where, well, she was an artist, and she had this, she wanted to use as an exhibit the people's pain in the city. So she had a hotline on her phone, on her answering machine, and her name was like Apology. And she'd be like, anything you feel sorry for, just call in and apologize. And yep. And everybody would call in and admit the stuff they did and everything. And it would get crazier and crazier. And they would just leave messages. And this one guy calls in, and he was so happy to have this line. He was, whoo, Claude again. And Eazy-E used it on that song, Sorry Louie. Hi, it's Claude again. I just want to say, last summer, I killed the kid named Louie. I bashed his head in with my Louisville Slugger. I got away with it. Claude kept calling back, and it was crazier and crazier every time. Claude was enjoying this hotline, and then it was like, Claude started doing stuff in the movie for real. They were like, is Claude for real, or is these just jokes? So the movie is free on YouTube if you got like Premiere or something. You could probably just pull it up and find it. But it's called Apology, and it is hilarious to me. But every time I see Claude 1993, no, the movie is called Apology. And the character's name is Claude. And he always says, Claude again? So when I see Uncle Claude pop up, I think of that all the time. The name of the movie is called Apology. And Claude is the guy. Claude again? All you gotta do is listen to Eazy-E song, Sorry Louie. It come on right in the beginning. They play the answer machine message. Hey, Claude again. Hey, man, Claude. That's why when I see Uncle Claude, I say, oh, man, there it is. Yeah, Claude again. He was like, my damn name? Yep. Yeah, I mean, you would have thought Halle Berry, who played a great role playing Dorothy Dandridge, you would have thought she'd have got an Oscar nod for that. No, that just got her to play. After she did Dorothy Dandridge, she got to play in Swordsfish, where she shows her boobs for the first time. And then they had to pay her extra for that. And then they put her in Monsters Ball. And that got her the Oscar for her basically getting down with Billy Bob Thornton. They execute Puffy Combs, put him in the electric chair. Man, Coach Tomlin ain't going nowhere. They don't fire coaches in Pittsburgh. And the Steelers, I think, are going to the Super Bowl to play the Bears. This is Rodgers' last hurrah. Or at least the championship game. They're getting rid of all these teams they don't care about. They don't care about Jacksonville, Carolina, but all these games have been close. All the games have really been close. They got rid of the Eagles, so it's definite we're going to have a new champ. I won't hear from Gore for about a year now. There's no Super Bowl this year. No Super Bowl party. It's over. This was a dismal Eagles year. They started off hot, and then they fizzled out. Drake May, I'm not sold on Drake May. I mean, I think he's a game manager, but it's the defense that normally been keeping them afloat. But I think Pittsburgh can beat New England easy. I think everybody hated Monsters Ball. It wasn't that great of a movie. That's why I'm like, it was all right. It's no Oscar worthy. There's a lot of movies that weren't Oscar worthy. You know, they didn't give Samuel Jackson the Oscar win for Pulp Fiction. And everybody knew he was the best part of Pulp Fiction. Is Jules. Don't Jimmy me, Jules. You gotta make some phone call. You gotta make some people. Then do it. No, Jimmy, we ain't gonna do nothing like that. I had to argue with my friend who told me I love the way Pulp Fiction was shot and the way they shot it in different angles. I had to tell him. He didn't know what was going on. I told him, I said, man, look, John Travolta died in the movie. He didn't die, dog. At the end, they get up and walk out the restaurant. So how did he die? I'm like, oh my God. You really didn't watch the movie? Did you not see him get shot with his with his own gun? It came out the bathroom, got shot on the stool. He was like, nah, that was some other stuff that happened probably. No, that couldn't be in the same time. I said, dog, you got to be joking. They showing you things in different scenes at different times, but I'm like, his character died. No, he didn't. I had to go back and show it to him. And he said he must have missed that part. But he argued with me for about 2 hours. Now, we don't have those arguments no more because we got the phone. We can pull all that up. I got people owing me still $400, $500 over some John Sally bet. John Sally do not have... I was like, Dennis Rodman got more rings than John Sally. No, he don't. Okay. John Sally won 2 rings with the Bulls. I'm like, no, he did not. He only won 1 ring with the Bulls. He only played 1 season with the Bulls. No, he did not. Sally was there 2 years, wasn't he? This will happen when you call drunk betting with friends. And the other person he's getting the advice from is as drunk as him. And you gonna tell me who's a Piston fan who got rings and who don't on our team? That's that who would know more than me? And you gonna argue with me on it. So we go back and forth. And I wish at that time we would write bets on the wall because people be so drunk. They would be so drunk. He go, that's it. We got to take this to the wall because everybody will forget. John Sally. When everybody try to get the words and the verbiage right. No, let's get it right. John Sally got more rings than Dennis Rodman. That's there. Oh, you want a side bet that he was on the Bulls and won 2 rings with the Bulls? I'll side bet that too. Man, I was taking everybody's money. It was free money. Free money they were just giving to me. Another friend, drunk, trying to tell me there's Buffalo did lose 4 Super Bowls, but they did not lose 4 Super Bowls in a row. I said, oh my God. They lost 4 straight Super Bowls. No. I think you're wrong. If somebody would come co-sign this same line, no, I think you're right. Yeah, they lost 4, but I don't think they lost 4 in a row. I'm not gonna argue no more. Y'all ready to bet? Y'all ready to bet? That's what I say. Are y'all ready to bet? That's all I say. Are y'all ready to bet? Because it makes no point to argue now. Let's go to the wall. Once again, I definitely know the Buffalo Bills lost 4 straight Super Bowls in a row. That's why their name was called Boy, I Love Losing Super Bowls. That's what the Bills stood for. So I knew right away. Just like I expect them to fail now. They're going to keep trying to carry him, though. But anyway, we've been doing this enough. Thank you, Claude, for coming through, making this live. Making it live. Claude again. Misunderstood Speaks. Don't forget to follow both of their pages. Claude channel is Uncle Claude Sports. And Things, right? I think that's a Things, right? Uncle Claude Sports and Things. So make sure y'all support them and their channels. And I got to pop up over there. But I can find some time. I'm so busy all the time. But I'm definitely got to go over there. All right. Love, peace, and hair grease. Chilling in the crib. Deuces.